Welcome to the Walking Dead reviews on What the Flick. This week is episode 13 of season 5, Forget. Last week we remembered, this week we forget. And Spaghetti Tuesday is back.
Was it Tuesday?
I don't know.
Oh.
Spaghetti Tuesdays on Wednesdays.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Stir Friday.
That is better.
You
That's
would.
better.
That's better.
Back on track immediately.
What were we talking about? I forget.
So in this episode, we're still trying to see if our group is going to trust this town, if they're going to brutally kill them. Carol and Daryl are on board for hiding the guns. And then, we kind of see things change. I'm wondering, okay, so we saw the scene with Buttons the horse. Huge metaphorical scene.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For what? I don't understand.
Okay, so they were talking to each other.
Daryl and Aaron.
I thought it was Eric.
No,
Eric
is his
with the
partner.
broken
That's,
ankle, yeah.
that's homophobic.
Aaron and Eric sound the same. Anyway, so Aaron said they were talking to each other, and he said, as long as they're out there, the more they get back to who they really are, implying to Daryl's wildness. And then when he learned the horse stopped running away from the people, that was when it got killed.
Yeah.
When it was in that confined, fenced-off area, sort of trapped. And when it got soft, when it didn't have anywhere to run, it was killed, much like a metaphor of Daryl settling down inside the walled-off area.
Well, they're chasing the horse the same way he's chasing Daryl. He's saying, you're this wild thing, but there is a place for you. Like, there was like multiple layers of symbolism.
Tell that to Buttons.
Yeah, poor Buttons. Buttons wasn't nearly scared enough of those zombies, by the way.
Buttons becomes the second horse to be brutally eaten alive.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Buttons would not have lasted this long if he was that unafraid of zombies. Like, yeah, there was a fence behind him, but he obviously got in there somehow. Yeah. Stupid horse.
Okay, it's not about the horse. It's
Buttons
about what the
hater.
horse represents. And then Daryl seems to be more trusting now of the group, despite not being trusted.
Give him a motorcycle.
Yeah,
He's getting a bike. That's the way to Daryl's heart.
Daryl is
Not
responding.
blonde ladies.
Responding the way we'd expect most other people to respond. Like, he's starting to settle in now, whereas everyone else is suffering some severe PTSD at the moment. Like, that's
Sasha is deep in PTSD
and that's why
right now.
when we talked about it last week, I was just pleading for this to happen. Rather than another group of antagonists come in, just have them break apart this group. Have their mental instability be the problem, and that's what it clearly is. Rick is probably going to be a domestic instability by splitting up what it seems to be
Rick's
the partnership.
gonna hurt that lady,
He's
isn't
right.
he?
He's got a lot.
Yeah.
It's so weird to see Rick smile so much. You're just used to that brooding approach, but now he's always smiling.
Yeah.
But I love this storyline. It's got me. I'm bought back into the show now because I was kind of fading away. So have them be the antagonists.
I like the subtlety of Rick as a villain, that he hides the gun behind him, and then frequently in the middle of a street in broad daylight, he grabs the gun and looks angrily at the only other people there.
The end scene was really strange. Like, I got it, right? I got it that you get the zombie was now outside and he was listening in. Like, you can't get
It was very
near me.
Spock and Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the zombie to put his hand up, both
Yeah.
of them on the other side.
And I want to remind them, there is a guy who has shown his favorite hobby is listening in on people's conversations, and they keep having like la resistance conversations as they walk down the main boulevard in full. They don't even need the thing. You can just be sort of hiding behind a tree, and you can hear what they're saying about overthrowing this town.
Carol is invisible now.
And also
on the topic
crazy.
Of Carol, she had a crazy scene where she threatened to kill a child, and she might do it.
One of my
she might
favorite
do
scenes in
that.
The Walking Dead, I think, in the whole, like, just I never expected that. I understand that because I was laughing so much at her character, the way she's playing along with all these housewives. I've never known how to shoot a gun. Like, you blew up Terminus, no problem, right? So she's amazing for me. And then that scene, I still didn't expect it though. It was so captivating and chilling. I expected it like to say like, if you tell someone, you might get hurt, but she brutally broke down how he would die, being tied to a tree and taken away. And that is going to be the problem. Like, we've seen Carol's somewhat instinct to do what she thinks is right in the moment when she burned the bodies back at the prison and caused enormous conflict in amongst the group. I think that she's going to be a major problem to split up this environment.
Yeah, I think that of the two, her and Rick has more to potentially lose by upsetting the peace there, whereas she doesn't have a child that she's particularly worried about. So I think if anyone is going to sort of inadvertently or purposefully sort of set things off, it's probably going to be her.
Yeah.
But really fast, one point that I want to make, I love that, so they come into this city and they're filled with uncertainty to different levels. Some of them, all it takes is a beer, and then suddenly they're happy again. But they're always on the lookout for this situation to not be what it seems. And I like that the showrunners have made it so, at least for me, I feel the same way as them. As I'm watching this episode, they keep having them like, oh, I'll refill your drink. And so I'm worried, wait, are they going to like drug them or something like that?
They were getting poisoned?
Yeah, they were going to get
I kept
poisoned.
thinking that.
I thought they were definitely going to get poisoned. And then, oh, I'll stamp you. And I'm like checking to see other people's hands. Do they have stamps?
Yeah.
But so far, none of that actually led to anything bad.
How about that stamp?
I don't know about that. A scarlet A?
Yeah, so we've got...
A for adultery, which is what he's going to do with that, that
and
kid's
A
mom.
for, and A for cattle car A.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
was it?
Like in Terminus, that's where they got rounded into, marked with an A.
And they have an A,
Yeah.
and then there's a W on the head. So,
A for Alexandria, obviously, is
Obviously.
what the little kid is doing, but still, it's not exactly
they're
subtle.
doing a very good job of creating all these scenarios that you think is going to happen, right? Okay, now they're going to be turned on at the party. Okay, now it's going to happen. But it's good because it consistently is surprising us. Like, this group doesn't seem to be that bad at the moment, and it's having you kind of need to decide whether you now start to favor with a group that you've never really been exposed to, and you start to favor your own group that you've grown to love less, because they, for me at the moment, are the only ones that are causing the conflict from what we've been given to see. Don't get me wrong, it's The Walking Dead. Something's going to happen. There's something. I hope it isn't that obvious that this group has been planning something all along. I don't think that would reciprocate as well as if the conflict started from Rick in there.
That's interesting that you feel more of a kinship toward the Alexandria group now.
Well, it's not as much a kinship. It's just more of I don't like the constant recycling of the show. You know what I mean? I don't like how every other group is going to be antagonist towards you when this group has been doing what it has been, what it has to do to stay alive, and they've performed atrocities. Like Carol's burned like innocent people's bodies. Like, and people don't look at that as in detail as much as the cannibals, because they're an outside group that you don't watch week in, week out. So it would be awesome for someone else to look at them as maybe the bad guys and find out a way to work together.
Yeah.
I like how this episode and the last one, they seem to have taken a lot of cues from Breaking Bad, because it's a different show now. They're in civilization. They can't
weird.
They can't behave the way they have before, so they have new problems and new things going on. The scene with Carol was very Heisenberg. That scene with Rick at the end where they're playing the Bee Gees music and they get that full above shot, like even the cinematography. But my question is Rick right? Is he right that this community isn't prepared, isn't going to sustain? I feel as though Deanna, the congresswoman,
They want a pasta maker.
right? They can't see the forest from the trees. They're so focused on industry and economy and civilization that they don't see that there's still really a threat outside the walls. There's no one in the guard tower, for Pete's sake.
Yeah, I honestly, the more that they walk around the perimeter of everything, that place does not seem nearly as well protected as they implied. Like, that wall it's no better than the wall at Noah's family's thing. And the front gate, there's no airlock, effectively. There's only one gate that it looks like a person can just open and close whenever they want. A car could barrel right through it. The walls are not particularly thick, and they're obviously easy to climb over. We still haven't seen that girl. Nobody seems to even notice that she's been gone for 2 episodes. I think that place, it's amazing, a miracle. Like, they call them lucky. They're lucky that they've survived as long as they have.
And that's a good point. And I have to say that I read a couple of the comments before, and people consistently are trying to bring this up. The foundations are on the outside. So like the pillars, so technically they could be knocked down. So credit to whoever noticed that. I didn't notice it as much until the episode. I was like, well, if they
backwards,
and it's true. I think they have been lucky. They have been lucky to be dropped into this environment. But I don't know if I'm going too deep into this. Could this be an idea of that maybe Rick's group and that are now seeing luck, because they did survive a storm that should have took away the whole barn. It should have destroyed it, but maybe they're being dropped into this lucky environment to see if they can respond well. It's a test to see if they can actually now adapt back to real life, or are they going to tear it apart?
I think they're at the point now where they've been out in the wild so long that they've gotten back to who they really are, which is they're savages. They're not necessarily good people.
How weird is it, by the way, to see a shot of 2 people walking down a street, or like the party and like they're in dresses in the background? For years we've been watching this show and we've never seen shots like that. So that is weird. And I also, from the party, I have never in a TV show or movie seen a better representation of how I feel at a party than the shots of Sasha, like, and he's like listening to conversations. She's like,
I've been to parties with
well,
John,
I have a tie, and the car needs oil, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill everybody. I know you feel that same way.
No, you get like that at parties.
You're all talking about stupidity. This is what you're worried about?
And credit to the makers of the show by casting great actors. Julian from One Tree Hill, I'm going to give it up, my One Tree Hill fanboy side. He's came into it. He's now going to be Spencer, who is
The son.
Deanna's
the son. So he's
who
the other
should be
son.
in
Got
charge of the
rejected.
watchtower.
yeah, who just got rejected by Sasha. I mean, he's trying to be nice, genuinely nice guy.
He's trying to be nice.
Same as everyone is. But so I guess the question is for me is we're leading towards the last few episodes. There's so many loose ends. We still don't know what's going on with Morgan. And still at the end of the back of my mind, I'm like,
You saw
where
that-
is-
you
where
saw
is
that
he?
foreshadowing
Yeah, we saw
Morgan
the foreshadow
Avenue?
of
Yeah,
Morgan
yeah.
Avenue.
And
So-
wolves.
to, yeah.
We don't know about the wolves. We don't know about the torsos. Like there's so much we don't know.
So again, I'm guessing when we go
Hopefully
towards
this
the
is our
finale.
last episode of relative peace, except for
It has to be.
in the mind.
Inner
Yes.
turmoil.
But we won't be here in next week to talk about it the week after.
All right.
Hopefully we'll get 2 and 1. What do you think's to come, audience? Join us next time for more Walking Dead.